That's
Sure.
kind of a gap. So
Yeah.
feel free to fill it however you want.
Sure. I was born in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And I didn't get the pleasure of growing up there, but I did grow up in South Texas, down by the Texas-Mexico border in what is called the Rio Grande Valley. I went through the local public education system. My mother was a teacher, and I went into college several times. I took 10 years to finish my college degree, sort of a self-joke of I wanted to finish before my 10-year high school reunion, and I did. A Bachelor of Science in History.
No kidding.
So I focused on research and data assessment based on historical findings and what was happening in a community. So sure. So I would say part of the reason it took me 10 years to finish my college degree was both my parents, over a 10-year period, ended up diagnosed with different forms of cancer. And I chose to go home and care for them. So I took breaks from my education to go home and be a part of what a family is and be supportive of those transitions in our lives. You know, we got transferred to California from Texas with my husband's work. So fast forward to about 5 years later, I started my own business and became more in town than I had been as a commuter. In the community, you start to ask questions. Why is this happening? Why isn't this happening? Why is that there? Why isn't this moving forward? And as a historian, I began asking those kind of questions. Because I like living here. There are things I want to add. How do I add it? Well, I can't depend on somebody else to do something. If I'm the one passionate about it, maybe I need to get involved and do it. So, you know, it was really about, I plan to retire here. You know, this is turning into, I'm almost done with a 30-year mortgage. It's a community I want to retire in and I want to be in. So what do I want here? And do others want that? And if they want it, maybe I need to help have it happen rather than just talk about it. One of the early things I got involved with when I stopped commuting was the library. I was raised by a teacher. I spent my summers, our house didn't have air conditioning, I spent my summers in the library. My mother went back to college, so we spent a lot of time in the library while she was doing her homework. And it really was where doors opened for me. The access to information, the access to escape, the access to new tools was all there, and it just took reading. And so this idea that the library is a public space, that it needs to be supported, and that the money was going away was a real draw to me. Locally, it's really important to connect with your residents and connect with the organizations in the community that can do some of the work you can't as a government entity. So who are your nonprofits? Who are your civic organizations that are doing things already that you just want to make sure it's easy for them to get it done? So nonprofits addressing homelessness, the civic organization like the Rotary who are doing fundraisers and donating back. You know, what can you do as a leader either to promote what they're doing or make sure your policies aren't making it more difficult for them? One was, again, I said I was from Texas, and I had the great pleasure of meeting Governor Ann Richards after she had been voted out of office. And she just inspires me as someone who spoke from the heart, was quick-witted and a sense of humor about herself, and yet worked really, really hard and wanted the best life for every Texan. With sort of the nature of national politics is people have shied away from that civic responsibility. But that starts to make your community wobble. And what I want to encourage people to do is not be afraid of government because of maybe the national discussion, but embrace local government because there you have a real voice. You have real action. You can appear in my city council chambers and stand at the podium for every topic and have your 3 minutes of say. And you can rally your neighbors and your employers and your peers and your teachers to come and speak on the topic that you may sway a change that I can make a policy change, and within 30 days of making that change, it is official and it is a done deal depending on what it is.